Welcome back, guys, gals, gays, and theys. I'm Alex. I'm here with Camry.
I'm Camry.
Oh, no.
I never know when I'm supposed to jump in with that.
I never know when you're jumping in either, you know. So Natlan came out.
Natlan came out.
I can't
5.0 is here.
But yeah, it's gonna be another Genshin week. That's crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. So 5.0 came out. It's been really something, you know. The community has been so positive. Actually, you know, I say that I haven't really gotten a lot of a chance to look into how the community is really reacting because I haven't myself, you know, I just finished it a day or two ago or whatever, and I haven't myself watched like playthroughs or like read comments and stuff. So like I haven't really been scrolling Reddit even about it because I was kind of trying to avoid spoilers and stuff like that. So I really don't know how the community at large is responding to it, you know. This week I'll probably watch some playthroughs or something and see how everyone liked it, but I'm not actually
by a general and not targeted scroll of Reddit, opinions seem to be mixed right now.
I
haven't done like a deep dive.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, just a cursory, you know, look. We'll get in. We'll probably have more to say about community's reaction next week, but this week it's going to be about our reaction. How did we like it? Because you and I have both finished the main storyline that came out.
Yes,
and you've accomplished some world quests and stuff like that, which I have not. True. I don't think I've done any other quests other than the Archon quests, but I'm looking forward to it. Does Mualani? She has a story quest, right?
She does. That's not what I've been doing.
Yeah,
I've been doing the tribal stories. And I haven't finished any of them. I've done the start of each of them just to kind of see what they're about.
I see. I thought you had finished them, but okay.
No,
I'm interested in them because they're voice acted. You're telling me, which is cool.
They
that's
are
really cool
voice acted, which is great.
Yeah, I will never not be scarred by Sumeru and its world quests and just having to read hundreds of thousands of words, I'm sure, of Aranara dialogue, and I just, you know. Anyway,
I liked the Aranara so much until they became so unbearable.
Which it's like, you know, yeah, I'm willing to get. Never mind. This isn't about Sumeru. This is about Natlan. Okay, yeah. So Natlan came out. I was pleasantly surprised by some things. Like, okay, quickly. We'll do a little bit of a first impressions, no spoilers here for a few minutes, and then we're just going to dive into spoilers here in a little bit, and we're going to talk all about Natlan, and that's that. So we'll give our first impressions here real quick, and then just dive right into spoilers. So first impressions, I was really surprised by some things. Like, I wasn't expecting to like Kachina pretty much at all, but I heckin' love Kachina. So, you know, Kachina's kind of the one holding it all together right now for me. You know, rooting for Kachina's fun.
You came around to her so fast. They did a really efficient introduction for you.
Yeah, it was pretty much, you know, like, I mean, yeah, it was just her introduction because I didn't really like, you know, there wasn't much to it, but I didn't really like her from the teaser trailer or whatever. I mean, you know, I guess it's not a teaser trailer, but like the trailer that introduced a lot of the Natlan characters, I didn't really care for Kachina in it, and I just kind of assumed I wouldn't like her because I hate fun, and she's fun. So, but anyway, yeah, it only took her introduction whenever her team, or you know, it's literally the first thing that happens. Yeah, I'm not worried about spoiling it. Yeah, but her teammates abandon her for her tournament arc, and it's like super tragic and awful. And I'm just like, you know, it instantly won me over for Kachina because she took it like she took it like a champ, and you know, she's just trying to do her best out here. I don't know. Anyway, I like Kachina, and yeah, it was a real quick turnaround for me because I didn't really expect to like her. And I mean, the tournament arc was fun. And that's something, I guess. There's a lot of lore, but I'm not really too sure how it's going to play into a lot of the, you know, the rest of the story. And yeah, I don't know. Capitano is cool. I like the Archon a fair amount. I like the general vibe of the zone. I like Kniech more than I thought I'd like too. Like Kniech is kind of cool. I'm trying. What are some of your thoughts? What's
sure. So first impressions, I think Natlan is beautiful. It's very colorful. The music rips. The animals are great. There's like long neck dinosaurs and all the cute little, all the cute little critters that we've seen in the trailers, and then the promotional material are cute and great. The NPC designs are good. There's like a lot more variety and dynamism in the NPC designs, which I'm enjoying. I continue to have the complaint that there's a lot of white people, but I'll continue to move on from that because there's better places to have that discussion than this podcast. I think. I like Kachina. I don't like Mualani. Cannot put my finger on why. But I do like Mualani's tribe is very cool. I don't know. As an explorer person, I found Natlan very fun to start exploring, to go pick up all my teleporters. And I think I will continue to find it very fun to explore. Hopefully future patches live up to that also, because I don't want it to be another Sumeru, where the first set of patches was really great, and then it was just like desert forever, just desert for the whole rest of my life, and I hated that. So hopefully it keeps up. But I've got a lot of confidence. They've got a lot of variety in like the kind of land that you're looking at and the traversal of that land, which is fun. So my first impression overall is pretty positive. As far as like aesthetics and design go, but I have some reservations about like content and substance right now. Yeah,
that's pretty much I kind of feel the same way. For exploring, I'm not a huge explorer myself. I do like, I like running around and stuff. I don't like the, I don't try to like 100% regions very often. I'm still working on Inazuma to get the Inazuma teapot, but so that's where we're at.
He doesn't have all the teleporters unlocked in Fontaine, you guys.
I still don't. Yeah, I don't have all the teleporters unlocked in Sumeru, I don't think. I think that there's some stuff that's like underwater and shit that
you're such a Fontainiac that it surprises me every time.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's not hard to keep up really at all. I just didn't keep up. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm a little worried about the traversal in this zone because it's like, I like Kachina. I don't really want to have her on my team all the time though. And it seems like, I feel like there's a lot of vertical walls everywhere and it's like Liyue. And Liyue was horrible because there's these mountains all over the place and no way to get around them. And it's like, they've given us the answers. Now you can be dinosaurs or be Kachina and ride up the walls super fast and stuff like that. It's just that I personally don't really like being dinosaurs, and I don't really want to, I don't want to be on the turbo twirly all the time. So I don't know. I'm a little worried about all the verticality, but I don't know. It's okay.
I think you're going to have to suck it up and be the dinosaurs. It's the same thing functionally as the Inazuma and Sumeru, like the points that you can hit your button and go to.
Yep.
And I think you're just going to have to do the extra step of being a dinosaur to do that. And I'm so sorry for you, but that's what it is.
Yeah. That's really, it's like, I'm glad Liyue. The problem is they didn't give us any tools to get around the mountains. So they have given us tools now. It's just that I'm not a huge fan of the tools, but I'll suck it up. I need, I like those, like the tethers from Sumeru where you just like, zip line across the desert is kind of fun. And then I think the best ones we've gotten so far are like the little fishes from Chungyun Vale and where you just like
I like this.
I like those a lot. They're probably my favorite.
If you're one of the green monsters, that's the functionality that they have.
Kinda. I feel like it's a little bit clunkier, but yeah.
You can grab the little chains and you can do 2 self-directed ones. I agree it's a little clunkier because if you fall, there's like no recourse for that pretty much. But
yeah, you can't glide. I can't remember if in the trailer it
abandon your friend.
Can you be the Kookasaurs? The Kookasaurs? I don't know. The
Which one is the Kookasaurs?
It's the dragon, like the red dragon looking thing. It's the thing that the dragon boss is.
We don't know yet.
Okay.
That would be another region.
In the trailer.
They have shown us Kookasaurs, but I don't think they've shown anyone indwelling Kookasaurs.
Indwelling. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we will see. I would be surprised if they didn't let you, but I would also be surprised if you could just fly, no limitations. So we'll see what that looks like. But
I don't know. It seems cool. You can be the dinosaur that burrows, with no limitations, I guess. So
yeah, just the stamina, the Flungston or whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess the swimming monster is like that. You can swim super fast, but the bar of its stamina runs out pretty quickly too.
Right.
So maybe they will let you fly within the limitation of that.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I like the landscapes. I think it's cool. I like the graffiti on the cliff faces. Like everything. Yeah. Just on everything. And I love the long necks. They're pretty fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the NPCs are I feel like it's kind of hit and miss for me because there's definitely a wider variety, and there's some of the NPCs that I heckin' love. Like the NPCs that go all out and they've got this get up of they look like the dinosaurs from their land is pretty fun. But there are some NPCs that are the more generic looking NPCs that I really am not that impressed with. But hey.
It's definitely hit or miss. I think that's a very fair analysis. There are some NPCs that are heckin' hideous to look at now.
Respectfully. Yeah. Oh jeez. But I like it overall. I like the towns. I liked all they gave us 4 different settlement. They gave us the arena and then the 3 different tribe towns, and they're all super great. I like them. I like them all. I think that's pretty much what I've got to say for first impressions before we get into those story specifics.
Okay, so right now is where the spoilers will start happening.
Okay, no spoilers. We're gonna talk all about Kachina's journey. We heckin' love Kachina.
Okay. I don't know. You heckin' love Kachina.
Oh yeah.
I like Kachina.
Mm-hmm.
I hate every scenario that they have Kachina involved in.
Same.
Because I keep just going well, the story has made this my daughter now, and I would not allow my daughter to do anything that the story is pushing her to do.
Absolutely.
And then the consequence of that every time is she's 12, and so it's overwhelming, and she cries and she's upset. And that's very fair. Why are we making her do any of this? She's 12.
It's so horrible. I cannot believe it. I really am just it's I really just want this to be a big relay race instead. Why does it have to be if it's going to be a rated G story, why does it have to be about death and war? And it's so it's death and war, but with the same stakes as a high school relay race. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, so yeah, Kachina, she gets into the tournament and we want her to win because, it's her against the world, and we want to root for her, and it's awesome. And she wins, which is, great, wow, I can't believe it. But then she goes to war and it's overwhelming and she fucking dies because she's a 12-year-old. And then she can't get resurrected, which is, it's crazy because it's oh, wow, this is the problem. We can't resurrect the 12-year-old. The problem wasn't sending her off to die, because that was okay because we knew we could resurrect her so that she could go do that again later.
Right.
The problems are numerous. And anyway, so
yeah. So we let her get ripped apart by hellhounds and then her soul to be tormented in hell.
Yep.
And she still tries to put on a brave face, but obviously that's not okay.
It's the most not okay thing ever, dude. and like we scry and we like astral project ourselves to go tell her we're coming for her, and she's like, "Oh, that's great because it's dark and scary in here, and I want to go home." And she's
so
crying,
scared.
and it's like so horrible because she's dead. But
upset. That's not even her first reaction, though. This is what makes me want to like her a lot. Is her first reaction is, "That's great. I'll keep being strong and wait for you guys." And then our Mualani goes, "You can be honest." And she goes, "I'm so scared. I'm sorry. I don't want to get picked up. It's so scary here. I don't want to stay the night at this person's house. They're a stranger and it's not comfortable." Like, it's the normal fear level that a 12-year-old should have.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so I liked helping her in the tournament arc, like Mualani and her teaming up to stick it to those boys that were mean to her. Like her teammates abandoned her, and then there's those two villains that she beat in the tournament, and they were like they're harassing her. And then
they stand up and say she must not be a hero at all or whatever.
Yeah, that's so their logic for her not being resurrected is that she's not a hero. That is so horrible. Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't, it's so terrible. So it's kind of funny though. Remember there's two like NPCs out of the 5 that they send to the war, and both of us, our first reaction was like, "Oh, so those guys are gonna die," but they didn't die. Both the NPCs made it back and had good things to say about Kachina. But anyway, so we team up with Mualani, Ensign, and Chaska to go save Kachina from hell. So we do all these things. We get the relic from Setlali, who's the genius apparently, and she makes these relics for fun where you can speak to the dead or something. And so we use that to go to hell and save Kachina. Which is all very nice and fun. It's like there's like 2 different stories here that I like both of them. But because they're together, I don't like it. Like, I would love to like root for Kachina to win something because that's great. We want this cute little girl to like win something, and that's fun. And there's this like lore thing where like we've got to save Natlan from destruction. Capitano comes and he's gonna make new rules and potentially like put out the flame or something. I don't know what he's up to. He's up to no good. And it's all lore driven, and that's fine, and that's cool. I like the idea. And
also, he doesn't really tell us what he's up to. They went from 0 to 100 with Capitano. No.
He came and he said, "I'm here to change the rules, and to do that, I have to kill you, the Pyro Archon." And that's kind. And then something they fought.
About. He also said something about 500 years ago.
Yeah. There's a promise or something.
They were like, we don't have the budget to have these 2 actors on screen for too long, so we just need to do the big Dragon Ball Z fight, and we'll figure out the exposition later. I guess. Yeah. I mean, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. I don't know. And so we didn't get much of his plan, and then we also didn't get much of the Pyro Archon's plan. I mean, we got some of it, but we got an explanation for why it exists. And that's kind of it, but we don't know what it is really, But we've got to get the 6 heroes together to fight back evil, which is great and all. That's fine. It's a goal. We got to go find the last. There's like 2 heroes left that we need to wake up. And
we need to collect the Dragon Balls so we can make the wish.
Something like that. Yeah. So that's fun. I guess we haven't spoken about the Archon very much. I don't know how I like the Archon sometimes. And that's kind of like I feel like she's a real like sad sack most of the time, and she just has to explain like way too much. Like her role in the story was to explain to us like what's going on, which I feel like isn't the right role for the Archon. And it's like, they gave her a break from that by giving her the Dragon Ball Z fight, but I'm not that interested in the Dragon Ball Z fight. It was a cool fight, but it wasn't. It was a
theoretically cool fight. What I like about other fights is that they're also giving us information while that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this fight was all flash, no substance. Like, we didn't learn anything from their fight other than she's strong, he's strong. But like, we knew that already.
Yeah. It was,
I don't know.
It's, yeah. There wasn't a whole lot of, advancing anything with the fight. Like you said, we didn't really learn much from it, Like, Capitano's here, and he's a bad guy or something. But I like some of her personality, like I like that she's sentimental and she had all those, items. That's fun. But that served a purpose in the plot, which wouldn't typically be a problem. It's just that I'm looking for some personality here. And,
right.
And she is kind of a jokester, she makes jokes sometimes, which is fun. It's just honestly a little bit like, usually I hate fun and I hate it whenever people like make too many jokes, but it's like, it's kind of off-putting whenever she's like, here's half an hour of exposition and like super serious sad sack talk about how, about how the nation's being destroyed or something and I can't do anything about it and I'm really sad about it. Also, I wish I got a picture of me when I could light my hair on fire. Like, that's a fun thing to say. I don't understand. Like, it's kind of out of character for her, though, it seems.
They're trying to have it both ways. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish there's a little bit more of that, I guess. A little bit more characterization. The problem is she has too much exposition herself to give to us.
Yeah. I really think, it's my honest opinion, if they had given Ensign some of the exposition to do and let the Archon be their own character or even kind of be aloof a little bit for parts of it, it would have been really helpful because we don't get any characterization for Ensign except that she thinks Paimon sucks, which, agreed.
Hey.
Cool.
Yeah, agreed.
Like that.
She thinks Paimon's a weakling and she wants to coach her, which is, I guess that's Ensign's like personality is they're a sports coach and they take bodybuilding very seriously, like their whole tribe, which is fun.
Mm-hmm. But it is fun. I like it. I wish some of the exposition could have been handed off though to this character that up until we were actually like in a party with her, we didn't know anything about. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm a bodybuilder. I think you should train more, Paimon. You seem lazy. Which again, I like, but if we had gotten some of that maybe mixed in with some of the exposition that we needed, instead of just having the Archon alternate wildly between not telling us enough and telling us way too much, it would have been helpful. I don't know.
Yeah. So, and while we're on the topic here of Ensign, let's also jump over to our other party mates here, like Chaska. And let's talk about Chaska, and then let's remember to talk about Mualani here in a minute.
We will, because I can't explain my hatred, and I need your help.
Yeah. But Chaska is pretty cool. I liked Chaska. She got a fair amount of screen time, and it was good screen time. Her and her sister are pretty dope. I liked
her sister are great. I like that she got that characterization. Mm-hmm. I like that both of them are just trying their best to be a good sister, and for each of them it looks wildly different, and also it looks to the other one like they're not trying at all. It's
they're both
very realistic,
really.
It's very realistic as a sister with sisters, I get it. It's really hard to know how to behave in any given situation when you're trying to be someone's sister and also just like a person in your own right. I liked it. I loved them yelling at each other to the point where Chaska had to say like, hold on, pause. Are we having like a fight or are we having just a fight? Because I'm worried about what we're doing here. Yeah,
which is cool, and that is a very humanizing like thing to do, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think that helped me like Chaska quite a bit more because we need that. We need these introductions. This is 5.0. We're learning about these characters, and I feel like we didn't get a ton from the like trailer, and I'm glad that for some of these characters we got a lot more in the Archon Quest, like Chaska. I think that Chaska comes out a winner here
Definitely.
in the Archon quests. I think Chaska's a winner, and I'm biased, but I think Sitlali is kind of a winner too. Like, she got name dropped a lot, and kind of with good exposition about her. Like, she's a genius. She comes up with these artifacts. Like, we rely on her for these things, and it's kind of cool. I like it, and like everyone puts respect on her name, which is it's interesting.
Yeah, we haven't seen her yet, but we know everyone respects, reveres, and a little bit fears her, and that she's super smart, but can also be very cranky. I'm looking forward to meeting her.
Yeah,
hopefully she lives up to that hype.
Yeah, she got hyped up a lot, which is cool. Yeah, excellent. And then let's talk about Mualani. Mualani, I like that Mualani likes Kachina. I like their relationship. Again, I just wish I wish we were doing anything other than sending a 12-year-old off to die. But, whatever. She's really invested in Kachina winning, just like we are, kind of. Which is fine. I like that about her. And her and Kanich are kind of a cool team. I like the two of them. I know you don't really have any love for Mualani.
So I have this problem where I like everything she does. I just don't like her at the end of the day. And I can't put my finger on it. I don't know if it's the juxtaposition between her being this like, oh, she's a happy-go-lucky, calm, she's like go with the flow, calm, cool, collected character. And then every function she serves in the story is like intensely serious, but she is not intensely serious in those moments. She is some. She like tells off the Archon. She's like very opinionated, but I don't know. I feel like I get whiplash with Mualani where she looks dumb. She's got like a lot. She's like a poppy surfer. Like, she looks very out of place for the role that she's serving. Her attitude, her behavior is largely out of place. So she'll go from this like deadly serious, my friend is a child and she's dying bloody and we can't bring her back and that's not okay, to like, I don't know, like, let's go surfing or whatever at a moment's notice. It's just like really, I don't like it. It just feels so inconsistent and her design doesn't appeal to me. So I feel like anytime she's standing here in a really serious situation with her dumb, like little shark bracelet pointing at the Archon, like, I just can't. Like, I just really wish maybe someone else was being serious and she could be sort of the comic relief or something.
Right. Like, if Kanich was more serious, like, Kanich is a more serious character, but if he was the one that took up that mantle, it would help. Be better.
I don't know.
I guess I disagree a little bit that it's like inconsistent because I don't know, she was happy-go-lucky up until Kachito was like dead, and then she stopped being happy-go-lucky, and she was mad at the Archon and wanted to hold her feet to the fire on getting Kachina back, which is that's fine.
I guess
I agree. It doesn't.
She
it doesn't
like
really
apologizes for it though.
She does apologize.
I hate that too. You have nothing to apologize for, and you shouldn't apologize.
Yeah. Her and the Archon spent a ton of time explaining to each other and everyone else in the room why they are right, morally speaking. Like, we spent way too much time on that, like making sure everyone's good, no one's feelings are hurt. Like, we spent way too much time on that. I agree. Yeah, I think that, so Mualani does not benefit from pretty privilege with you. So you've got no, you're not ready to make any excuses for her, like, kind of boring, she's very, I want to call her a generic waifu because she just does the right thing all the time. It's kind of and that's kind of what we've come to expect from our Genshin characters in general. And she doesn't have much edge to her, other than she's willing to, to tell off the Archon when she doesn't think that the Archon's helping her friend enough. But of course, the Archon is helping her friend, or as much as they can, and so we smooth that out, and like, it wasn't much of an edge to begin with, and then they talk about how how much there really isn't an edge here. Don't worry, you're not actually hurting my feelings. I think I can see why you wouldn't like her. because she just kind of makes the right choices, you know, like she's kind of just being a good person the whole time, and she's kind of a goofy surfer girl that's, you know, going to war like everyone else in this region. But yeah.
I get she's like a microcosm of my whole issue with Natlan, which is like we're fighting a very serious war against the Abyss, but all of it is really removed from us as characters because it happens somewhere else and we can resurrect and whatever. And none of it matters until it's serious.
Right.
And I just hate that.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of crazy. It's crazy how serious it is and how much it doesn't matter, because it's a rated G war story. That's the problem here. It's like we send people to war, but they can't actually die. But there's a risk that they die. Like if all 5 of them die, then 5 people have died, and that's terrible. But you know, it's like
let's don't do war if we're not going to be able to do war.
Yeah, I think I agree. You know, and it's fine.
And additionally, Kokomi was at war against Raiden, and we saw battles and people died, and it was like impactful and meaningful. And even though I think Inazuma's pretty meh, they tackled the issue of war and what war does to a country and what war is like. And then we went to the nation of war, and they're not doing that even at the same level.
Not even close.
Anywhere near the level.
I remember the cutscene where like Sarah and Goro on that beach are like assassinating tens and it wasn't that big of a battle, I guess, but like, you know, dozens of people. Goro and Sarah killed people on that beach, dude. That was crazy. And then they talked about it later. You know, Kokomi at the freaking TCG event was like, yeah, we need events like this since, you know, we killed a bunch of each other's friends. So, we need there's a real rift between us and the people that we were killing. Which is, anyway. Natlan, I agree. It's like I feel like they've kind of missed the mark here. But I'm willing to give it more time. You know, I'm interested in the lore side and the war side. It's just weird that they put so much, you know, mushy gushy rated G stuff in there as well. And, you know, I can't complain too much about it. It's a children's game after all, but like you're saying, they've done more serious topips in the past.
They've dug themselves into this hole.
It's a hole.
I don't understand it.
Yeah. It's a little jarring, kind of. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't want to be like too super negative about it. I like Natlan. I'm enjoying myself. It's just that there is kind of a lot of there's a lot of stuff to think about when it comes to the storyline.
I'm enjoying myself. I'm willing to see where it goes.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I'm convinced that this is a good foundation.
Yeah. I think that the foundation kind of missed. But that's okay. I'm here for the characters anyway. So, you know, I'm interested to see what Silali's up to. I want to see what Chaska's up to. And that's kind of that, you know. Ensign's fun, you know. I don't know. I'm liking Ensign more than I thought I would too, you know. So
true.
Not that we've got a ton from them, but
we've gotten a little. I've enjoyed the little we've gotten.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like I feel like I'm avoiding the Archon because I feel like we're going to talk about her like too much. But I'm interested.
I think we need to wait on the Archon. Yeah, they're not pulling the trigger on anything real there yet. They're doing just the exposition mostly. So I'm fully ready to wait and see on her. Yeah,
it's interesting. We can get more into this whenever we start comparing Natlan to Fontaine. But like in Fontaine, we didn't get to talk to Farina very much until much later in the story. You know, 4.0, she was in the trial with us. But 4.1, we were in Maripede, and then like we didn't really interact with Farina much until 4.2. And in opposition to that, in Natlan, we've spoken to the Archon. We're seeing a lot of her. Yeah, it's kind of weird to be like so upfront with the Archon. I'm trying to think, like, in Inazuma, we didn't talk to Raiden very much until later.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time with Rex, but we didn't know we were spending time with Rex.
Yeah, we were real buddies with this like poor old man, and that's what we didn't really know. And Venti was by our side a lot. I don't know. I'm just thinking. Nahida was by our side a lot. Nahida was with us for like the whole time. It's interesting. I'm just saying it's interesting.
Nahida wasn't with us until we broke the samsara.
Yeah, I guess. I guess I'm just thinking of the samsara like event, like the Groundhog's Day thing. She was with us, like she was just with us for a long time, kind of close to the beginning. But that was that 3.2. I guess. I don't know.
But I would think maybe we didn't get a lot of Nahida until the second patch, because we maybe got if the samsara was during the first patch, then we would have gotten like a bit of her, but not anywhere near what we get once that's broken. And I'm certain that if we broke it at the end of the first patch, we didn't continue that. That's a lot of story.
Yeah, there's like there is a whole we went off to the desert, came up with a plan with Al-Haytham in the game, so that happened in between somewhere. But all right, so we've been putting it off a little bit here. I want to talk about comparison, is the death of joy, stuff like that. We have to do a little bit of comparing here, though. Natlan to Fontaine. And I didn't want to do it at the very beginning because I don't want to be too negative about Natlan. I'm liking Natlan. Disclaimers. The problem is... comparing Natlan to Fontaine is a bit of a slaughter, I think, and it's pretty much unfair on like every front. Fontaine 4.0 was insanely good, especially compared to Natlan. Like I remember whenever it was happening, I had some criticisms, stuff like that, but like, dang, dude, we looked back before the podcast and we were like trying to like see like what all even happened in 4.0. And dude, like the list goes on. It was Lenny's trial, the conclusion of that. We went off with Navia. She almost got assassinated or whatever. We investigated the serial disappearance cases. Navia like confronts Nouvelette about her father's death. We catch Uncle Marcel and we put him on trial, and the conclusion of his trial happens and he gets drowned. Like all of that happens in 4.0. So it is unbelievable, like the difference and depth of storytelling, like the characters we meet and like the characterizations, like Lenny, Lenny, Lynette, and Ferminet are crazy. We got so close to Navia. I mean, Nouvelette was there. I mean, we learned a lot about Nouvelette. I don't know, man. It is insane. I feel like how good the storytelling was in 4.0. I don't know. I feel like, what are you thinking? What's the
I want to like Natlan. I want to not be this upset, but yeah, when we went over what had come out in 4.0's patch in comparison to 5.0's patch, it's just undeniable. We had met and learned to love and care about Lenny, Lynette, Fremine, Navia, Clarande, Nouvelette. We had gotten the whole drama of Clarande having killed Navia's dad because Navia's dad wanted to die, and Nouvelette letting that happen, and the explanation of every piece of that. We had gotten the second trial with Uncle Marcel. The
trials alone were sick, dude. Like the trials themselves were awesome. They're so awesome. I loved the trials.
With the same amount of patch, right? I won't say the same amount of time because I don't know how they break down. But with the same amount of patch, I was so much more in love with, invested in, like knee deep, heartful from Fontaine than I am from Natlan. Maybe it's unfair because I was more excited about Fontaine than Natlan going in.
I'd say that it's slightly unfair in that Fontaine was awesome to begin with. Like, we were a little more invested in the setting and stuff like that. But like that only goes so far though. Like we were slightly biased toward it, but like I don't know, man.
Right. Character wise, I would say they have done the work with Chaska and with Kachina that they had by this point done with Lenny Lynette from an Navia, Clarand, Nuvillette, Farina. Just so many people. Malouse and Silver. I cared more about Malouse and Silver by this point in 4.0 than I care about Kinich or Ensign. Yeah. And that's not good.
It's really
Natlan.
Not good. I'm very concerned. One thing I wanted to bring up though, just to have a little bit of consistency in my ideology here, I want to point out that I have criticized Fontaine in the past for biting off more than it can chew. Like I thought that Fontaine did, we're praising it right now for opening up so many very intriguing storylines. I have also argued in the past and still believe to this day that they didn't handle all of those storylines that well. I think that it would have been better. Like Nuvillette is my clearest example of a character that needed more screen time and more like focused screen time, where I feel like Nuvillette kind of suffers from the same thing that the Pyro Archon is suffering from right now, and that he had to explain too much about the settings, and we didn't learn as much about his personality.
I would also argue the problem is that he doesn't have one.
Well, yeah, of course. I just also don't like Nuvillette that much because of that. But
I'm arguing we got a lot of good characterization from him, but that we didn't realize it was characterization of him because he's just serious and a rule follower and boring. And that is who he is. So there was stuff we were getting that we were like, okay, you probably don't have to explain that to us. We can understand it. But that was characterizing, that he was explaining to us things that we didn't need to know.
I guess specifically with him, I'm thinking of his and Farina's relationship, because I think there's a lot of that relationship that we didn't get to see, but is implied. That like he's supposed to get credit for, but I can't give it to him because we didn't see it. Anyway, my point is, I criticize Fontaine for biting off more than it can chew. So I praise like Sumeru for having a more focused, a more concise storytelling that was a little bit less. I wouldn't say less grandiose, but like they didn't try too hard, or I don't even want to say that. They were more focused in Sumeru.
They were more focused. They didn't start as many things. They kind of stayed on a thread and pulled people in as needed.
Yeah, it was just way more focused, but it was less grand in scale. Fontaine tried to tackle a lot more and kind of failed, I think. And I think Sumeru tried to tackle like a perfect amount and succeeded very well. And that's why I think that I think Dia is still the best written character in the game, pretty much. And it's a little bit unfair because like Farina is a very well written character. It's just that they tried to do way too much with Farina and kind of failed in some aspects. And I feel like Natlan has gone way too far in the opposite direction. Or like they've went back toward Sumeru and overshot like big time, where all the story is way too truncated. Like it's too simple, it's too like surface level, and that's kind of what it feels like, especially in comparison to Fontaine. Like comparing it to Fontaine is really horrific. Honestly, like it's really not good. I don't know, but I don't want to be someone who can't be pleased. Like I asked for, my suggestion was, rein it back a little bit and maybe don't bite off more than you can chew. And I mean, I guess they listen. I do not think
they have done that. But, I disagree that they've reined in the story. I think that they've made sacrifices in characters, because the story is huge in Natlan.
Yeah, they're still talking about.
We're spanning time. We're spanning dimensions. We have 6 different tribes. We have heroes that we need to connect with from the past with the heroes that we currently have today. We have a lot of work to do, too many characters with which to do it, and the stakes are the entire planet.
That seems accurate. I don't know. She says Natlan might be destroyed, but we, I think that the planet's probably at stake. Capitana's here.
If the abyss becomes like takes over Natlan, breaks through, it's the planet.
If Natlan falls, it would be like the fall of Conria. It'd be just another disaster like that. Is probably the scope that we're talking about. Because I mean, I guess they say it like I kind of don't think of it this way, but it's true. Or like they remind us in the Natlan story that the fall of Conria was like the abyss attacking, which is weird because in my mind, I thought of the fall of Conria as they warred against the heavenly principles and lost, but that's not what happened. I think that they fought against the heavenly principles, and basically, I guess what happened is the heavenly principles let the abyss take them or something. Like I don't really know exactly how it went down, because I think it was a conflict with the heavenly principles, but the destruction of Conria was the abyss. So however that squares.
It's my understanding that the abyss is the opposition to the heavenly principles, and that Conria opened the abyss, and the heavenly principles was part of fighting that back, but the heavenly principles was against humanity rather than like against the abyss in so much. It's unclear.
Yeah, it's a little bit
unclear. They've never really told us a very concise story of the. Yeah.
Natlan is saying it was the abyss that destroyed Conria. But I feel like a lot of the other stuff is, Conria, asked for it by going against the heavenly principles, is what people say. So it's like, I don't really know how that squares, but I'm sure it makes sense somehow. Anyway, we don't want Natlan to fall to the abyss, because it would be like Conria all over again, which was terrible, apparently. So, yeah. I mean, the stakes are pretty high. But meeting characters. I kind of agree. Like, Chaska's kind of the only one that really. I'd say Chaska's the only one that got it. That was a winner here. But there are people who love Milani. Milani. People like her. I get it. I see the appeal. Her and Kachina are fun, and I get it. I like her. I like her enough. To be a character, like I'm not trying to gatekeep her her existence here or anything.
Right. But. She has more characterization. It's true. She is fleshed out. That's fair. I just don't like what they keep showing me more, and I'm like, no, thank you. But that's a B problem.
That it happens. It's Yoimiya again. Like it's fine. It's fine.
It's very Yoimiya.
We just don't like it, and that's fine. We need Yoimiyas in the game for the people who like Yoimiya. So, and Milani, tons of people like Milani, so that's great. But yeah, dude, just Fontaine's 4.0 was an absolute banger, and 5.0, thinking about them together really makes it feel like nothing happened in 5.0. But I mean, kind of nothing happened. Respectful. I mean, we saved Kachina. We sent her to her death. She died, and then we saved her. So that's great. We did all that, but dang, we did so much more in 4.0. It feels like.
It feels like, yeah. Things have changed. Like, the state of Natlan has changed. The Archon put her power into the sacred flame. She expended even more power, getting us out of the abyss. We learned about the heroes and the plan and the Phoenix thing. I feel like a lot was revealed to us, but the world state didn't change that much over the course of such a big, patch.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe a lot of the action is in the next set of story, and there's a lot of setup that we're not even realizing is important right now. It could turn around.
It definitely could. And hey, if we're talking about comparison, 5.1 has a way easier opponent with 4.1, because 4.1 was the Fortress of Meripede, which was by far my least favorite Fontaine patch. So, the bar is pretty low. So hopefully 5.0 or 5.1, picks it up, and they can they could really beat up 4.1. But even then, like, I didn't like 4.1, but I'm pretty passionate about it. And there are a lot of people who loved Risley, you know, and there's some parts of 4.1 that I liked, like Lenny confronting Risley.
Right.
Which was
Lenny
awesome.
Lynette from NA.
Yeah.
They're the best. We love them so much.
We do, dude. That was in 4.1. You know, the siblings have their stocks have only risen since 4.0. So, you know, they were introduced and, you know, they haven't stopped going up since then. So
it's true.
And I've got a funny feeling that, you know, the same passion has not been birthed for any character here in Natlan so far, you know.
Not for me, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see, dude. We'll see. 5.1, I'm a little bit, you know, I think I'll be happier. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see how the story goes, you know. It's fine, you know. It's fine. Not every patch has to be a banger, you know, like, you know, there's been a bunch of regions. I don't know. I don't want to excuse too much, but, you know, it's okay. It's okay that something wasn't as good as Fontaine in my eyes. You know, like, you know, Fontaine was awesome. It's anyway. Is there anything else you want to talk about for Natlan in general? I don't want to cut it off too soon, but, you know, we got places to be.
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm hyped. You know, the game is going. I like, you know, the state of the game is pretty good. You know, these characters coming out, all this quality of life stuff happening. That's great. You know, 5.0 it's not a disappointing patch. I'd say it's just disappointing thinking about the story. The story was disappointing. Pretty much, you know, everything else about the game has me very excited. You know, I'm very pro Genshin right now. It's just funny, like, how much, you know, how seriously the comparison hurts.
Yeah, right, well, I like 5.0. I like Natlan a lot. There's a lot of good stuff here. I'm just going to be critical because they've shown me a higher level of performance, and I just want them to stick with that.
Right. Yeah. Which is, you know, that's fine. And I think that they can, you know, they've proven that they can. So, hey, you know, maybe they'll turn it around. And, you know, we're here for the characters anyway. Like, if 5.0, like, if 6.0 comes around and all that's happened is I'm in love with Citlali and her story quest was awesome and that's great, then I'll be happy. You know, if they give me one character this whole time that I actually like, fine. You know, it was good for something. So that's great, you know? Mm-hmm. Anyway. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about the next thing we wanted to talk about this week. Speaking of how great Fontaine's storytelling was, you have now completed Arlecchino's story quest, and we're here to talk about it. Arlecchino's story quest was heckin' awesome, and we are hot off the heels. You know, we spent most of our morning crying. Here we are.
Yep. Yeah. Full disclosure, that was like, I don't know, 2 hours ago, maybe. I'm still upset about it.
It was great. We heckin' love Arlecchino's story quest.
We do.
It's mostly the siblings, but Arlecchino's great too.
You know what? Top to bottom, I hated seeing Child there. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't thrilled to spend time with Neuvillette, but every other thing that happened was great. The fucking, is it called cinematography when it's animated?
It's still cinematography. That. The camera work.
The cinematography of this fucking story quest absolutely kills in a way that I am confused about, because there's been stuff since that has come out and has not been anywhere near as polished or beautiful or used visual storytelling in the same way.
It's weird because Fontaine did that a lot. Like, the Trials had amazing cinematography as well. Like, you know, and other narrative devices in general, you know, like the Trials were insane. And then, you know, it's like they stopped it. It's like Fontaine is the place where we're going to, you know, try with our visual storytelling, and we don't. Then we can stop whenever Natlan comes out.
Right. Natlan, I don't know. Natlan feels like a step back in time a little bit in comparison, because having just done, this weekend, having run through all of the Archon Quest and Natlan, and then going back in time to do Arlecchino Story Quest, the difference in how much care was given visually to telling Arlecchino's story versus the care given in Natlan is frustratingly apparent and stark and not okay with me. But Arlecchino Story Quest is beautiful and very, very polished.
Absolutely beautiful. So, full spoilers for Arlecchino Story Quest. We meet up with the siblings, and basically they're in Poisson, whatever. So they're there hanging out with Clairvy, a spirit from Arlecchino's past, and Freminet, being the precious person that he is trying to save this spirit from being exorcised by Father. So they're kind of behind Arlecchino's back, scheming to protect this the spirit of the house. And the siblings' interactions, like introducing us to this problem, are like my favorite part of the of the thing. Lenny and Freminet talking about it, and then Lynette showing up is just like the most perfect series of events that I heckin' loved it.
Yeah. Why would you take this on alone where I'm your brother? Okay, now let's you and I deal with this and leave your sister out of it on, hands in on 3. And then she's there. And what can he say? How dare he leave her out? She's his sister.
Yeah. That was absolute cinema. That was perfect, dude. The fist bumping thing is like, it's so great. Like that's a moment right there. I heckin' loved it, dude. So, Lenny and Freminet are promising each other that they're not gonna bring anybody else into it. Meaning Lynette.
Lynette specifically.
Yep. But Lynette is, doing what she does. Lynette is only rivaled by Charlotte. Lynette shows herself, whenever they fist bump, Lynette pops out and she fist bumps too. Like, yeah, I promised too that we're not going to bring anyone else in. We didn't see Charlotte, but she was there taking pictures probably. And that's the only two, there are 2 people in Fontaine that happens with, and it's Lynette. Lynette and Charlotte are always there. We just don't know where. Anyway, absolutely beautiful. I loved it. I loved, serious topics. Sometimes Genshin does them, like Lenny talking to Freminet about how, they're real siblings and he cares about him just as much as Lynette, his blood sibling, and it's like, he was very disappointed in Freminet for not bringing him into this very serious trouble that Freminet was having in his life. He, they had a very awesome conversation about how, they should rely on each other as siblings. It's great. Right. It's really great.
Family is family.
Super awesome. And they take that, they take that theme all the way to the end, all the way up to confronting Father about it. You've got these other siblings that were in trouble for wanting to leave the House of the Hearth. And, and the siblings stood up against Arlecchino to save them. And that's kind of, I'm skipping ahead a bit here, but there's, that's really what it, that's what it comes down to though, is the fight with Arlecchino. We learn a lot about Arlecchino's past, how she got here, her and Clairvy's upbringing. And it's a little bit hard to square. I think on the second time around, I liked it more this time watching you play through it than my first playthrough of it, because it's like Arlecchino is kind of fucked up. Like her view of the world is kind of messed up from her upbringing. And I kind of blamed her for it my first time through. Like I'm not super impressed with her parenting methods. It's great that she wants to set the siblings up for success by giving them an insurmountable challenge being her. And it's like, I don't know. That's great and all. It did, produces a certain amount of camaraderie to have a bunch of siblings like get the guts to say no to their parents. It's true, that's cool. That's a good thing. It's just that she was doing that whilst letting these kids think she's going to murder their siblings, and she never clears that up. Which again, she specifies during the story quest, my view of the world is fucked. I want people to think that I'm going to kill them because sometimes I have to, and that. She definitely has. We know why she's this way, but this way is kind of bad. She lets these kids think she's going to kill them all the way up until the end, and I don't know. I kind of blamed her for being kind of too mean in that aspect, but I don't know. I feel better about it this time around, though.
Yeah,
I guess because the conclusion is very nice.
The conclusion is nice, and I think part of her towing this line is also like she is a Fatui harbinger. This doesn't get easier for her. She can't show weakness. And why would she? She's an afflicted goth girl who was raised in the Hunger Games and had to, assisted suicide her. We'll say friends. Friends is what we'll call it for now.
Yeah, I guess so. Awesome line.
This is in many ways like a really good telling of someone working on not passing down patterns of generational trauma. It never looks for, the person closest to the trauma who's protecting other people from it the same way that it will look for, Lenny is going to govern the House of the Hearth with a lot of sweetness and kindness, and no one's ever going to worry that he's too ruthless. But that's because Arlecchino is making space for him to grow up that way. Because if she looks too soft, House of the Hearth is going to get taken over by somebody else before Lenny's ready. And I think that it is kind of an important thing to slow down and be like, look, she's trying her best. She's better than her mother. She's not a perfect person. She just knows that how she experienced it wasn't okay. And she doesn't want that for her kids. But she doesn't know she's not going to 180 and be a perfect parent after that, or be very loving, or know how to do that in the same way that like Lenny's going to be able to. And I think she picks Lenny because of how big his heart is. Right. And she says that in a way, right? He has a lot of conviction and that's what he needs. But beyond conviction, he has a lot of love and he has a lot of space and he cares. And that's not something she knows how to do.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, she's kind of, pretty specific about that, she kind of tells that to his face.
In her own way, yeah.
Yeah, in her own way. She's honestly quite supportive, of the whole thing. So she's just kind of cruel about it. And but that's, she's a Fatui harbinger, and Lenny is a Fatui lieutenant. So, the
right. There's a certain amount of softness that's never going to be there. Yeah. But he can have with Fremine earlier, he's saying lots of the same things to Fremine that Arlecchino is kind of saying to him, but the language has to be different.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really cool. I think that the story really did a good job. It's Arlecchino's story quest, but I feel like we did learn a whole lot about just the siblings in this one, Lenny specifically, all the other kids looked up to him too. I don't know. He's definitely, it did a good job highlighting his kind of like role in the house. Yeah, dude, it was definitely great. Dude. I heckin' love the story quest for Arlecchino and Lenny. It's great. Absolutely great. So I think that's all I got to say about it, though.
I think that's what I have to say about it. So I guess we could roll into our ship of the week this week being Arlecchino.
Big Arlecchino. Yeah,
Her father himself.
Father himself.
Father herself.
Yeah. I like the I'm gonna change my name to signify something. Like, I like the changing of names and titles and stuff like that for new me, type of stuff. I like that. So that's cool. Anyway, yeah, who can father be paired with romantically out here in the world? It's looking kind of tough. It's looking grim.
Pretty tough.
We've got a couple, so last week or sometime, I don't remember if it was last week, but we spoke about Jean and her ships, and Arlecchino came up, and I kind of liked it. I liked the idea of it because Jean is like, I don't know, she's busy. She's got a kid. She knows what it's like. I don't know. That's not really going to work out, though, is what we concluded last week. It's,
it's just not.
I think there's something there, but really it's just, Arlecchino is probably a little too evil for Jean in general, but then also Arlecchino might have some ulterior motives once she finds out about Klee and Klee's, ability to change the world.
Jean is a package deal, and you have to imagine whoever you pair Jean with sitting down for tea with Barbara. And that's not going to be Arlecchino.
I think, yeah, probably not. Yeah, Arlecchino can be nice, like she could have tea with Barbara. It's just, it couldn't be more than that, though, really, like it'd be hard for them to be a family, probably. I don't know. Arlecchino's got a soft spot for kids. It's just, I don't know.
She doesn't have a soft spot for soft kids. Barbara is as soft as they come.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah, that would, I don't think Arlecchino, yeah, she wouldn't like that. So we've got a couple.
Oh,
what's up?
I will hold. I've just had a brain blast of somebody that maybe could pair with Arlecchino.
Well, then give that to me, because we're gonna have to get into some other. Continue. What's your idea? What's your thought?
What is your thought on Hu Tao? Because I do kind of think that Hu Tao, Arlecchino is like cursed and preoccupied with death and loves spiders. And I just feel like Hu Tao could really vibe with that. And I don't think her optimism would get in the way of anything.
Right. Hu Tao's not very optimistic. She's some might call her morbid and pessimistic, but I don't know. It's an interesting pairing you just brought up, because Hu Tao definitely, I think Hu Tao would definitely be interested in Arlecchino. I don't know how interested Arlecchino would be in Hu Tao. I don't know. And that's kind of our problem here, is Arlecchino's not that interested in a lot of...
Arlecchino's not that interested. Yeah. I do feel like Hu Tao has a sense of humor that is very morbid and dark. And I do think that Arlecchino, she spends time with Lenny, Lynette, and Fremine. Like, she has encouraged Lenny to be who he is. And I think a part of her must really enjoy just sort of the goofy showmanship of it all, even if that's not something on the surface for her. And Hu Tao is that.
She's definitely got some showmanship, and that's great. That's I think that you're kind of onto something. It's true though, like because Hu Tao is very interested in morbid topics. I don't know, and she's she's kind of edgy. She pushes the line. She's kind of fine with pushing people to their deaths for for the sake of the business. And hey, I mean, being with a Fatui Harbinger, there's going to be a lot of coffins needed. That's a lot of business. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. Hu Tao, she might not have the scruples that would cause other people pause. It's an interesting thing you brought up. I kind of like it. I'm kind of down for this. Hu Tao definitely. I think Hu Tao would definitely find it exciting, and I think that there's definitely room. I can easily imagine a world where Arlecchino would be into Hu Tao. She's a businesswoman. She knows how it is too. So I
She's
I don't know how good of a stepmom
they both know what they want.
Gonna be. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. She's fun.
She is fun. That's not a very big
like,
criteria anyway. I think Arlecchino is enough parent for two people. So this is fun.
Yeah. I don't think she has to step up in this relationship in the same way that like other parent figures would need that. But she doesn't seem at all like someone who couldn't hack it with kids. I think she's got what it takes.
I think you're right. Hutao kind of I think you're right. I think she's got what it takes. I think this is a good catch out of the ether. This is good. And they're, they're both wildly powerful polearm pyro DPSs. So this is good. We love this. Almost as powerful as Zhengling, both of them. Together, they might be able to take Zhengling on. I don't know.
Yeah.
The true pyro archon. That's great. Yeah. So I can't think of. So we could. So I want to talk about a couple. Columbina is someone that people pair her with all the time. Another Fatui. We don't really know much about her though, so I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know what. There's not much to say. I feel like about the relationship because it's kind of all aesthetics, and plus like I don't know. Is it Shakespeare? I don't know. They share some names from some classics. Arlecchino and I don't know. I literally don't know. But I watched some video about it.
Right. Well, the Tsaritsa gave Arlecchino her new name, so she might have given Columbina the name also.
Right. And I'm pretty sure, I think it's Shakespeare, but I am not a cultured person. But I'm pretty sure that there is a classic story out there somewhere where Columbina and Arlecchino, a male, like leader of an orphanage, are romantically involved. I just don't know. I don't know exactly where it comes from. But that's definitely something that's happening right now in Genshin, is those two being shipped pretty aggressively. And I wanted to save this best for last, but I just it's gonna take some time in explaining. So the elephant in the room, the thing that plagues Farina mains all day, every day.
Oh no!
Yup.
I disagree, Farina. And I never will agree. But please go ahead.
The Farina Arlecchino ship is it's here and it's not going anywhere. And Farina mains on Reddit really don't like it. I personally am kind of a huge fan of this ship, but that's just how it is. I feel like there's a capacity here for a good relationship could spring from this, where the knave is apologetic and keeps being apologetic. Wouldn't be. Well, I don't know if that's true though. I feel like she
wasn't even apologetic to Clairvy.
Not very. She's kind of a psychopath.
Not at all.
You don't think so? You don't think that she's sorry for killing Clairvy?
The apologetic thing she said to us after Clairvy was gone. She wouldn't have said it to Clairvy.
I guess. I feel like it's implied they've said goodbye to each other a couple times before, though, like without us there. She's had to exorcise Clairvy a couple times. Like she's shown up in the House of the Hearth before, and she just got to her before the kids did. The times previously. I don't know. I don't know. So my point is, I can imagine a world where she's sorry to Farina, and I mean, I don't have to imagine that. She is apologetic. She has the twins bring Farina cake sometimes as an apology. She's apologetic. She's just not very, she doesn't show it at all.
That's
and I think
problem.
There's an easy mental gymnastics where
Farina is so scared.
Her be like showing it. Yeah, Farina's scared. But Farina's also, she's neurotic in a way that like, she's scared, but if Arlecchino was apologetic for real and they talked about it, if they could sit down and talk about it, I feel like they could come to a good conclusion. I guess it's a tough sell, but
it's a hard sell for me.
I can imagine a world where it happens.
I think Farina deserves better. I don't know how much room Arlecchino has in her life to help Farina get past all of her trauma. I don't.
A lot of it she caused.
A lot of it, which Arlecchino caused, but not all of it.
Not all of it. Actually, probably a small amount, really, since
in the grand scheme,
only 20 years old or something. But, in the grand scheme of things, it's a recent occurrence that she's been traumatized by Arlecchino. But she's very traumatized.
Listen, Arlecchino probably isn't interested in being with anybody. And I think Farina deserves better. Do I think Farina could be a good partner for Arlecchino? I do not know. I honestly, genuinely do not know, because Arlecchino's needs are a mystery to me in many ways. I think she's pretty foreclosed on her life as is. She's fine with things as they are. She doesn't want more, different, new, anything. So they could have cake together, but I just don't think that there's they could. A whole life there.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I guess. I like it. I like thinking about it. I think it's a fine, I can imagine situations. I like their dynamic. I don't know. It's a tough one and an easygoing one. Not that Farina's not easygoing. She's sporadic, but it's like I like it. I think that they've got some fun. I don't know. I think it's fun.
Believe what you will. You may.
I will.
You have my permission. It's just not for me.
Thanks. I like it. It's pretty biased though. I mean, I don't know, man. That's how fan art works. It helps. I don't know. I like it. I think that Farina Main's kind of blow it out of proportion a little bit. With the just how insurmountable of an issue it is. I don't know how insurmountable it is. She popped up, she scared her. I think that you can apologize for that. You just have to be serious, and it has to be it's got to be a big one, a big apology. I think they could do it though. I think it's doable.
I think they could be friends. I think they could get past what had happened. I just don't think that as relationship partners they work for me. That's
fair. I accept that. It's a big ask.
It's a big ask. It's very big ask. You have a lot of hurdles to jump, and then after all those hurdles, you're at the base level of any other ship, which is there actually a future to this relationship? I think the answer is no after all that work.
Maybe. I don't know how sustainable it is, for sure. I don't know. I just like it. And I feel like I should be able to articulate some better things here, but I don't think I can.
You just like the aesthetic of it. You like Farina. You like Arlecchino. It works for you. I get it.
It's kind of like that, yeah. I like them both.
I hear you. I wish I could agree with you. I don't think there's anything there.
That's fair. I guess my main argument is go spend some time on Arlecchino Mains, and they might change your mind. But
I've been there. I don't hate seeing it. It's just, it's just art.
Yep, it's just art. And yep. It's true. I can't believe the dynamic. So Farina and Arlecchino aside, the dynamic of Arlecchino Mains versus Farina Mains is pretty funny. I think that those guys, those people are in love with each other. They are flirting. That's what I think. I think that the people on Farina Mains and the people on Arlecchino Mains need to get a room. That's what I think. I don't know about the characters, but those guys, jeez. Anyway, I heckin' love Arlecchino Mains and Farina Mains are both awesome. I love both those Reddit pages so much.
They're both good Reddit pages. They don't need to be having a war. I understand though.
It's just yeah. They call it a war. Everyone else, we see it for what it is. They're flirting, and that's how it goes. Okay. Final thoughts or are there any others? Or do we need to talk about anyone else for Arlecchino?
I don't think so. I don't have any other brain blasts. It's just Hu Tao.
Hu Tao's a good one.
I do think that she would want to adopt Razor into the house, but that's a different discussion.
That'd be a good one too, because I mean, like, he's a wild animal. He'll go kill someone. That's that's fine. I don't know how much of I don't know how much programming Lisa got in before Arlecchino. Like, does Razor have a moral compass or not?
I don't know.
I don't know. Because Lisa's got a moral compass.
He doesn't have more of a moral compass than Lenny Lynette from an A, so he would be fine in the house.
That's true. Yeah. Razor could be a good one. I mean, Zhang Ling, like, she's powerful as fuck. You want her in the house.
She has parents, though.
And Zhang Ling, I can't believe it was not until the end that I brought up, dude. I heckin' love thinking about Zhang Ling as a Fatui because of her being on the Fatui banner a while ago. The banner with Lenny and Arlecchino, Lynette, and from an A. The only person on the banner that wasn't a confirmed Fatui was Zhang Ling. So, by process of elimination, trial by combat here, Zhang Ling is a Fatui, part of the House of the Hearth. That's just confirmed. It makes sense, dude. She's strong. She is strong.
She's getting those secret extra lessons on the side.
Mm-hmm. All right. Final thoughts. Natlan. Great. A little disappointing. Kind of great though. It's weird. I can't believe the comparison. The comparison is really killing it. But that's why people say comparison is the death of joy. This is why. This is the we can't let Fontaine gatekeep Natlan's story. It deserves to exist, I think. So that's anyway. What do you think? What's your final thoughts here? 5.0.
Final thoughts. I really like the Scion of the Canopy tribe. I think they're cool. I'm excited to see more. I really liked Aha just being kind of the worst, just being so mean to Kanech. That really did work for me. That did some heavy lifting for me. I'm excited to see more Kanech. I'm really excited to see the other tribes so we can get a more complete picture of Natlan. I think there's a lot of really cool set dressing that has been going on and maybe some good setup. I just need to know what the payoffs are before I can be excited about them.
Fair enough. Yeah, we've got the setups.
We got so many setups. A lot of exposition happened.
We're waiting. The Shalonen, hyped for her, I guess. Like that. She's
I'm
cool.
So hyped for Shalonen.
Yeah, that's
I'm on.
We don't
have
much story wise though.
No, we don't.
She's just hot, and not
she's
that we look at
she's
leaks.
A good. She's a Geo, and we're gonna not looking at leaks, but we might predict that she's a Geo healer buffer, good partner for Navia, maybe a good partner for Chiori.
Probably.
And the not leaks predict her being on banner against Chiori.
Really? I didn't know that.
I just saw that today, which has me really conflicted because there's a thought in my head about a triple Geo Navia, Chiori, Shalonen that is probably unreasonable for me wish wise, but might be something that could happen. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. It's a real upsetting situation, I know, because I'm here to bother you about pulling for Chiori because I heckin' love Chiori. And I know you do too. And I want you here with me.
If Shalonen's DJ samplers count as constructs, it's a done deal. I'll go for broke on the banner and get both of them and then pull on the weapon banner if I've got anything left. But if they're not constructs, then we're going to have a really tough conversation.
I can't believe
because I don't play any construct users on Geo.
No.
if Shalonen's not one, then I'm done, you know? I can't.
There was a world where you wanted Chiori C1. You're talking to me about pulling Shalonen C1. You can pull Chiori C1, and then you don't need constructs.
Yeah, but if it's...
anyway.
If I can pick up a Gia wife for Davia, I'm going to have to pick up the one that has heals, because I don't want to have a healer slot on that team. That would make Charlotte dedicated Hu Tao partner, which would be helpful.
Well, you've got Auntie Yoon.
I've got Auntie Yoon. Well, I've got Hu Tao with Auntie Yoon, and you're right. We can have this discussion off mic.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, I'll have all three of them, and then we'll just be picking an elemental applicator to go with my mono Geo team of hot ladies.
Yep, I'm here for Chiori. Chiori, I don't know, man. Someone's got to advocate for her, and I heckin' love Chiori. So
I love Chiori. I don't want to go C1 if I don't have. I don't use constructs. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah. Looking forward to Natlan. The story's fine. I just, it just sounds so negative.
It sounds negative, but we didn't have a podcast when Fontaine was coming out, and I'm sure we had a lot of in the moment complaints that we don't remember.
We did. We had tons of complaints, whole ass complaint. I hate the Traveler. We didn't have a podcast until the end of 4.0. And I feel like I have yapped so much on the podcast still about how much I hated some parts of the Fontaine storytelling, because I hate the Traveler, not my Traveler. I heckin' hate them. And the way they treated Lenny in 4.0 is a big reason for it. Most of the reason comes from 4.2, but it's there's a lot I didn't like about Fontaine too. We have lots of criticisms, so
we're holding out hope. We'll see, but this is a critical media podcast. We don't just talk about how much we like stuff. So
that's right. We use our big brains here to talk about narrative storytelling and shipping.
In this children's game, we're really...
In this children's game, mostly. So, heck yeah. Nope. All right, that'll do it. Good night,
babies.